was annulled on the 23rd day of June by a statement, an unsigned statement issued from the presidential villa. And of course, that threw Nigeria into a crisis that lasted until 1999, when democratic governance was restored. A numerable number of people lost their lives. In fact, the presidential candidate of SDP, Moshood Kashimawola Abiola, who was the declared winner of that election, lost his life in the processes in the hands of the military. He died in confinement. The military head of state that annulled the election was compelled to step aside, as it were. And of course, an interim national government was put in place, headed by Ernest Ademolegun Shonekan. Ademolegun Shonekan's ING could not find its fate because it was unaccepted and unacceptable to Nigerians after what was adjudged to be a free and fair elections was conducted and won by a candidate. In November that year, after Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida stepped aside in August, 93 days precisely, the dark-goggled general, Sani Abacha, who was the defense minister, shoved Adenekan's IMG, interim national government, aside and assumed maximum power. And all through from 1990, that year when he seized power, 1993, he was generally referred to as a maximum leader. Of course, he died mysteriously, suddenly, and Abiola too died shortly after in confinement, in circumstances that Nigerians believe was orchestrated. Of course, Moshood Abiola refused to renounce his mandate. His campaign manifesto was titled Farewell to Poverty. And of course, his campaign slogan was Hope 93. Incidentally, just a fortnight ago today, Nigeria saw in a new president in Bola Ahmed Tinubu, one of the principal actors in the actions to de-annul and reclaim that mandate. The processes which saw him go into exile, as many other prominent Nigerians, activists, and political actors, we saw them do during the era of the maximum ruler, Sani Abacha. Bola Ahmed Tinubu branded his own campaign manifesto, Hope Renewed, and people have been asking, is there an exodus between Hope 93 and Hope Renewed? This morning, in celebration or remembrance of June 12, the president, of course, June 12 has been named Nigeria's Democracy Day in recognition of the import and the watershed that date represents. The president did a broadcast this morning and copiously and generously heaped praises and encomiums on the late Moshood Kashimawola Abiola. And of course, several others, including Yaradua, Alfred Rewani, so many others too numerous, unknown and unsung, but not forgotten, who lost their lives in those processes. And people are asking, is this hope renewed? In fact, somebody told me this morning that it is not just hope renewed, it is hope assured. Well, but people will say, how did he start out? He started out by imposing, well, at least assuring the removal of subsidy, which has landed us in the era of around 30 naira per litre, even here in the city of Ibadan. But people are saying those are right steps in the right direction, that it is not the poor that is benefiting from subsidy. That subsidy itself is a huge scam perpetrated against the interest of the common people. It's another June 12th. 30 years, how time flies. How time flies. Solutions 93.9 FM is the station, and of course, the show is Political Updates. My name is Ayodeji Ajishokwe. It is always a pleasure and a privilege to be with you wherever you may be located in this global space. This is what we're going to be talking about today on Political Updates. 30 years, a whole generation. Of course, not many people may not even know, may not have heard, may not understand what June 12 means in the history of this country. This is what we're going to be taking a look at today. June 12, is it hope renewed? Questions, but of course, we will prefer answers. Do stay tuned. I will be back shortly. Yes, but before I go, I will be linking up with a trade union leader, the comrade Ogudiran, the immediate past chairman of the Trade Union Congress in Oyo State, the Oyo State chapter. These are people who have been in the struggle for the betterment of the life and welfare of the workers. Do stay tuned. I'll be back shortly. Thank you so much for staying with our comrade. Hello, comrade. Hello, comrade. Hello, comrade. Hello. Hello, sir. Hello, comrade. Yes, a little bit of audio challenge there. Okay, can you hear me now, sir? Can you hear me now, sir?
Hello? The volume is down. Yeah, but it seems you're a bit far. It seems you're a bit far from the phone.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's coming nearer.
It's coming nearer now. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for your patience. Yes, I have live with me now, on air, from his location, the immediate past chairman of the Trade Union Congress, the Oyo State Chapter, Comrade Emmanuel Ogundiran. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
It's my pleasure.
Yes,
good evening,
sir.
Nigerians. Good evening, everybody.
Yes.
Happy Democracy Day.
Yes. Happy Democracy Day. It's been a long journey in arriving at that June 12 becoming Nigeria's Democracy Day. What are your recollections of June 12, 1993?
Hello?
Hello, what are your recollections of June 12, 1993?
Oh, June 12, 1993.
Yes, sir.
That happened to be a landmark day. One of the reasons that was considered for annulling that the fairest election in this country was that it doesn't take cognizance of one religion. It's the same thing that is happening 30 years after now. Then it was a Muslim ticket, and as of today, what we had was a Muslim ticket. 30 years ago,
Hello?
Yeah.
30 years ago.
Yeah,
You're
30
going to
years
say?
ago.
Yes, sir.
We thank God because Nigeria seems to be passing all odds. If not, what actually took place 30 years ago, this country might not be standing today as Nigeria. But it seems we thrive in the face of difficulty.
Resilience of the Nigerians.
That was joined by everybody. The wielding of power.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Now,
okay,
so means Arabic. Now, the president that we have today in office was a big part of that June 12 transactions in 1993.
Yeah, I said 30 years ago, the wielding of power.
Yes, sir.
By the then military president, IBB. But the power was so powerful then, wouldn't know whether by himself or by some cabals. So, that power was so powerful that it disturbed INEC from performing his duty. It stopped the chairman of NEC then,
Professor Omosu,
from performing his duty. There are so many things if one need to go down memory lane that took place 30 years ago.
Yes, let's look at the situation we are in now. One of the leading lights of that period. Hello, sir. One of the leading lights. There are interruptions. One of the leading lights of that era is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He is now president of Nigeria. Can you hear me, sir? He's now president of Nigeria. Hello, sir.
Yeah. Hello.
No.
Yes, it's clear now.
Okay.
No, there was a background.
That was background noise. Okay.
One of the background is greater than.
Oh wow! One of the leading lights of the June 12 crisis then is now president. He branded his campaign manifesto "Hope Renewed." Moshood Abiola, who won that election in 1993, branded his manifesto farewell to poverty. But the lead thing then was Hope 93. Now we have
Exactly.
renewed hope. Is there a nexus? Do you see a nexus?
Oh, sure, sure. You know, it's part of what I was trying to say. Fine. If you look at a lot of things that happened then, there was a picture that went viral. You will see the present president now, just behind the military junta, Abiola. He was conspicuously seen behind them. And when the result was announced, you know, this man was part of the founder of the National Democratic Coalition, popular NADECO then. He was being hunted, and he had to leave the shore of this country to hide. And on coming back, he came back stronger. So there is a link between Mr. President now and Hope 93. He was a major player in the Hope 93 election that was botched.
Now, comrade, when this president was sworn in, as he was being sworn in, his first action resulted in what Nigerians consider to be uncomfortable in the removal of fuel subsidy.
Yeah.
And people are asking, is this what we bargained for? Will this action and the few actions we have seen him take and subsequent actions, does it portend, will it lead to renewed hope? Somebody even told me this morning, a comrade like you, he said it is hope assured.
Hope assured, I may not put it that way. It depends on the type of people he surrounds himself with. You know, this is somebody that has been building people. This is somebody that has been planting people for development. So let's hope those people will not have been somebody else, especially when they were no more around him, when they started working with some other set of people. We knew what happened with one of them who was a former governor in one of the Southwest states. We knew all what he said, and I think he's just trying to warm himself back to the new Mr. President. The step that Mr. President took is what is expected. Anybody that has been a good Nigerian, an adult, and seen the way things have been going, especially with the petroleum industry, even upon the signing of PIA into law, will know that, yes, it's something that must be done. And in fact, it's something that had been done by the immediate past regime, only that implementation has not commenced. So what Mr. President did that took everybody as a shock was let me put it, the brutality of his pronouncement. Yeah, the brutality of his pronouncement that sent shock around the spine of an average Nigerian. And we know he knew the type of people that he's dealing with. Just upon that pronouncement, an hour after, our petroleum marketers, they started behaving in their normal way, which led us to where we are. And people now question that without consultation, no palliative measure, you see, we know that a lot of shock will take place. Do we have the absorber to absorb the shock? As I'm telling you, do you know some people have died just within this period that it was announced? And you said you have deregulated whether the mainstream, downstream, or upstream. Why is it that the NNPCL is still fixing prices? So these are things that people expected Mr. President to have been prepared for before the announcement.
Down the line, Nigeria has done 24 unbroken, unprecedented years of civil rule. Is it yet Uhuru?
Even in developed countries, it can never be Uhuru. So, Nigeria is a third world country, or they don't want us to say third world now. We are a developing country. It is not yet Uhuru. And we cannot shout Uhuru. There are lots and lots of things to be fixed. Our energy sector is still nothing to write home about. The agricultural sector that's supposed to serve as the primary base, the sources of raw material for our manufacturing is nothing to write home about. Nigerians still embark on health tourism, so the health sector is nothing to write home about. Our education, I think we now have more licensed private universities than public universities. I mean, state and federal put together. It can never be Uhuru. And in a state or a nation where you said you are purely capitalist, and where almost 70% of your inhabitants fall below the poverty line, what capitalism can you play that will lift those 70% or more of that population above the poverty line? It can never be Uhuru, because the economy is nothing to write home about. Majorly, Nigeria economy today is being rolled by fixed income earners money. Then it can never be Uhuru. Small scale industry, small scale enterprises. Look, the little that COVID left, Emefiele killed them by that obnoxious policy that he singularly introduced. So, industrialization in this country has taken the backward step. So, we cannot say it is Uhuru. For us to shout Uhuru, we have to, at least, let's see how Mr. President has started, if he will sustain it. You see, he has to step on toes. He must not look back, he must not look sideways. He stepped on toes, but make sure you achieve your aim of making Nigeria progress. Look at taxation in this country. It's multifaceted.
Okay.
The rich, they are paying less. It is the poor that are being overtaxed. You tax my salary, you tax the good I will buy, you tax so many things. So it is not yet Uhuru.
Now, comrade, the labor movement in Nigeria, over some years now, has incurred the distrust of the Nigerian people.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it took a while to happen. It didn't happen overnight. What will be the role of labor in the emergent engagement? Seeing that, you know, a section of labor threatened to go on strike, but in a matter of days, a consensus was built. What will be the role of labor now?
No, I wouldn't say a consensus such as that. I would say reasonability prevailed.
Could you break down for us, sir?
Yeah. What happened? Okay, let's start from the role of labor. You see, Nigerians, they always try to look for scapegoats.
Okay, sir.
Nigerians have seen the labor movement then, maybe as the chief opposition. Yes, during the military era, it is very good to say that it is very easy. There was no politics, no division along ethnic or religious lines.
One identifiable enemy.
But immediately since the introduction of civil rule, you have multi-party system. And you know, politics in Nigeria is divide and rule. They will want to use all factors to make sure the center of opposition does not hold. And that is exactly what has affected the labor movement. In those days, which Oshiomhole carried on to Obasanjo era, it was so easy. But when Obasanjo came with his Senate and whatever, they limited the activity of the labor movement to the primary constituency, and that is the Nigerian workers. They told us, point blank, that if it is for the Commonwealth, fighting for the welfare of the citizens of this country, it is them that people have voted for. But if it is for the Nigerian workers, the organized labor, yes, those ones have voted for you people. And when we saw that, if anything happened, there's uprising, they take us to civil courts, we demanded that, okay, from where you brought the ruling system, the presidential system, they have a separate court for industrial matters. Instead of taking us to civil courts where labor lose cases, we also requested for the industrial court, and they gave us the NIC. And go and look at it. Since the introduction of NIC, labor has not been losing cases. So, the powers, majority of the law that have been interpreted now, they are not new. It was only that during the military era, at the preliminary stage of the civil rule, a lot of things were being done by implication. But by now, when the Nigerian politicians, they always try whatever. No, you cannot say by implication now. You face your constituency. It is when we fail your constituency, you now say, okay, you are part and parcel of Nigeria. So that is the reason why. But unfortunately, an average Nigerian citizen are so docile. We are cowards.
No, is it as a result of lack of political socialization?
So it's part of it. You know, this politics that we play in Nigeria, it was meant for the elites, for the political elites. Go and look at what type of political education will you say the followers have, even up till now. It's a matter of when election is coming, those people that you have last seen about 4 years ago, they will come back. And they will still deceive you with rice, stomach infrastructure, like somebody put it. And as gullible as Nigerians are, they still go and line up and vote for them again. And these people will still go for another 4 years. So, if Nigerians have been well politically educated, look, I don't know successfully how many Nigerian politicians that have been elected have been successfully recalled. Or is the process of recall not in the Constitution?
It is.
But those that did it, they made voting easier than the process of recall. So these are part of where we need to look into that bills are supposed to be sponsored, but the labor movement cannot sponsor such a bill. They're supposed to make as easy as voting is. It's supposed to be as easy as the recall process should be, so that if you are not performing, if after voting for you, you left us in our constituency, you become Mr. Abuja or Mr. State Headquarters. We can easily move at home where we voted for you and recall you. But unfortunately, that is not the case. It's very difficult to recall, very easy to campaign and be voted for.
Comrade, our democratic journey since 1999, how will you assess it? How will you assess it? The executive branch, the judicial branch, and the legislative branch. And of course, go ahead, sir.
Thank God you have just broken it down. What I was about saying, you have just said it.
Yes, sir.
Democratic. I'm very sorry to disappoint many Nigerians listening to me. Nigeria is yet to be in a democratic rule. What we are practicing even up to now is civil rule. Because if democracy in its simple meaning is a government by the people, government of the people, by the people, and for the people, Nigeria is yet to be there.
We don't fit that bill.
Look at, have we not been recycling even since 1999? Have we not been recycling? So, it has not been government of the people, for the people, and by the people at all. Just some very few that are opportune. They put themselves together and they have been rotating position between and among themselves. So, democracy in Nigeria, I will say no, even up to now. Civil rule, yes. No wonder you can have a PMB that left military to become civilian president. So, we had Obasanjo left military to become a civilian president. We have a David Mark for so long, a former military man that became president of the Senate. So, when you look at that, you will see that if democracy will be entrenched totally, as it is done globally, we will be dropping all this militocracy in our attitudes. Going around in queues of cars. I mean, there are a lot of things that we are yet to get right. Part of it is the recall process I said. All these processes are supposed to be made easier. We are asking for our own homegrown system.
Not copy and paste.
All this copy and paste is not paying us. And that is why the World Bank, the IMF, because it was copy and paste, they can come and force things down our throat. Once our leaders are bought over, then the followers have become vulnerable. Civil rules since 1999. Do I say we are just scoring like 30 out of 100?
That's not even the pass mark, the lowest of the pass.
Look, now let us look at it. Let's look at the economy of this country. Is it getting bad or getting better from 1999 till now? Let's look at the petroleum sector. Let's look at the manufacturing sector. Let us look at even infrastructure that they said they are doing. What quality are they giving us now?
And at what cost?
As compared to then, and at what cost? Then we're supposed to have pure separation of power. If it is pure democracy, the executive will not tamper with whatever is to be done in the judiciary. The legislature will be checking the executive. The judiciary will be checking both of them. But what do you have? When it is the executive that will pick who will head the judiciary, when it is the executive that will call members together to say, this is my anointed candidate. No, we cannot get it right.
In fact, the president issued a warning to the judiciary today that the kind of illegal orders, you remember Justice Ikpeme, Basi Ikpeme, who issued an order in the night in an Abuja court a day.
So many they do for labor movement now. We don't say they get we say they
procurement of orders.
Yes, it's procurement of judgment and orders.
Serious.
So that's what they do. And the type of politics we play is winner takes all. It cannot bode well for this country like that.
Comrade.
We have to do it the way it's supposed to be done.
And now, talking about the way it's supposed to be done, what is the role of political parties? We have seen political parties in this country in the First and Second Republic, even this aborted Third Republic. We saw political parties. A friend of mine calls what we have now special purpose vehicles.
SPVs, yes. It's right. You see, let's see. Look at the 1993 election. Is Nigeria mature for multi-party system? What is the difference between all the parties? It is because there is no difference, that it is easier for Mr. A to cross from party A to party B, later to party C, come back to party A, go back to party D. What is wrong in we having just two political parties? I mean, there will be decorum.
Just like 93.
There will be discipline. People will know, look, this was what you did while you are here. No, don't come here and pollute us. Because only two alternatives. But they said they were afraid that Nigeria will soon become a one-party state. We never saw it that way, because we know. Look at the present set of people in government now. Because they were in the opposition before, they know how to play opposition. They were in the opposition for 16 years.
Yes.
They know how to play opposition. They got to power. The other ones that were used to being in power, you can see how lame they are.
They couldn't play opposition.
They're very lame in playing opposition, because they were used to being in power. No, it wouldn't be like that if it is two-party system. If this party wins, the other one will try to get power the next time. And it is the achievement that will continue to speak for them. Not that one money bag will now go and carry one moribund party that has been registered. For instance, look at Labour Party. Labour did not float a party, because the power that be saw Labour as active opposition.
On its own.
On its own. They formed that party, register it in the name of Labour. So that is not politics. That is not the way politics should be played, and that is why it is never democracy. We don't have our politics in this country is never based on ideology. You can't go to America today. You say you are a Republican or Democrat, and you cross to the other line. No. Although there are few ones still today. I knew some politicians, they have been conservative right from the time we know them, and they remain so.
Consistency.
Those type, you never see them crossing to political parties just anyhow. I know some of them, they have remained where they are, even up to now. They are not rich, but they are well respected.
Shouldn't it be that way? Dignity.
That is the way. That is the way it's supposed to be. But because IBB has shown that money can do almost everything in this country, he entrenched that, and that is the way our politicians are going. Once they dangle money before you like this, they sweep you up your feet.
And they say poverty has been weaponized by the politicians.
That is it.
Now, comrade,
they met it from the military.
It is imminent, apparent, and apparently unavoidable that wages, there will be an increase in salary of workers.
Sure.
And I mean, fixed employment, especially those who work with government and associated industry.
No, once you are in you see, like now, any sensible employer should be thinking in the direction of wage adjustment. upward review of wage. Why? Even if you are private sector, if you don't review the wages you pay your workers upward, whatever you produce will not be picked up. It's as simple as that.
Well, okay. Service industry. What about service industry?
It's the same thing. Who will pay for the service? When the service is available and
you have 1 minute remaining.
High, who will go for them?
Comrade, I'll be back shortly. I'll be back shortly.
I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Every little thing that goes wrong, we start to blame the government. We know everything that goes wrong because we are part of the government.
Yes, which way Nigeria? I've been in conversation with Comrade Emmanuel Ogudiran, the immediate past chairman of the TUC in Oyo State, a veteran. And he was supposed to be with us live in the studio here, but he had been under the weather in the past 24, 48 hours or thereabout. So we agreed to do this. In fact, I said, let's just do 10 minutes. But when you have him on air, you can't just stop. Yes, he's been talking about Nigeria, 24 years of unbroken democracy, and now we have in place a president who is a part of the June 12 saga. When you look at June 12, what it portended, the potentials for Nigeria then, this was a man that was coming from below ground zero in Moshood Abiola, and he rose to that position. He had demonstrated capability, he had demonstrated capacity. He won a nationwide election. East, north, south, and west, middle belt, everywhere, even in the home of Bashir Ahmed Tofa, the candidate of the National Republican Party. But the one they call the evil genius, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, annulled, that is the word, annulled that election. I do not know how you annul the wishes of the people expressed. Yes, we have Comrade back here with us. Comrade, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I know I've been stressing you. I know you've been under the weather, but when one is in conversation with you, it is almost unstoppable. because of the information. He's almost
Thank
unstoppable
God.
with information and what you have to offer. I just want us to wrap this up. I don't want to stress you too much. What is the word out there that you have for Nigerians and the leadership?
Because it is our Democracy Day, we all have to come together and make it work. And you see, it's very, it's very called, if we know it cannot work the way it's supposed to work, let us come back, sit down together and revisit this structure.
I am with you.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, let us come and work. Whether you are a leader, whether you are a follower,
let us cooperate.
And make it work.
In whatever position, let's come together to make Nigeria work. But if we are putting our so-called best and it cannot work, we have to sit down together and revisit the structure of this entity contraption called Nigeria.
I got you loud and clear there. And I'm sure everyone watching and listening got you loud and clear. It is incumbent on us to come together and make it work. And if it is not working after all said and done, let us come to a round table and revisit the configuration of this union. Wow. Thank you so much, comrade, sir. It's been a pleasure.
It's my pleasure
having you on this show this afternoon. I do wish you well.
Thank you very much.
I know I've tasked you this afternoon. Please take a little more rest and God will renew you.
No, it's in the line of duty.
I really appreciate
you. Line of duty.
I really appreciate you. Thank you. God bless you very much.
Amen, and you too.
Thank you. Bye for now. Yes. Thank you so much, our listeners and viewers, wherever you may be located. I was in conversation with the immediate past chairman of the Trade Union Congress in Oyo State, Trade Union Congress. Well, that's Comrade Emmanuel Ogundiran. Very versatile, very active, and zesty individual. Committed to this union. Yes, you heard him. We all have a stake. Like the outgone president said when he took power in December 1983 as a military leader, we have no other nation we can call our own. This is Nigeria. I tell people, I was born and raised as a patriot. I can't do anything about it. It is in my DNA. I remember that if there was going to be any broadcast and the national anthem sounded in our house, you got to freeze in attention wherever you may have been located. It is our union. It is the land of our forebears. What are you doing in your corner? I think you should do the needful, so that we shall be proud of this country that we call our own, and not join the Japa trade as everybody is doing. And those who are saying education is a scam. There is hope. The president says this is a renewal of hope for Nigeria. Thank you so much for watching and listening. God bless you all. God bless our union. Bye for now.
Na midnight you dey so you dey receive one important call. Na so you just hear
you have 1 minute remaining.
Sharp you don't begin check your wallet. But to cash no